Today we are going to talk about the contraband. This is the story of a smuggler who had retired, but when his family faces trouble, he starts smuggling again. The story begins with, and we see a helicopter in the sky. The helicopter is just roaming around a ship. Then the customs people come with a small boat and all these people are going to raid this ship. Inside the ship, we are named Andy. We see a man who picks up his friend and says that the police are going to come here, then he starts running away with a bag. After some time he throws the bag in the water. Then in front of us is the scene of New Orleans. Come here we see a man named Chris who is partying. Chris is very happy. Here we see Chris's friend whose name is Danny. Chris also has his wife whose name is Kate. There is another friend whose name is Sebastian. Sebastian is also present here. When all these people talk, then we come to know that Chris used to smuggle earlier. He was a mastermind, he has carried out very big smugglings, but now he has become a family man, he has left all his wrong deeds. Then here comes a man named Church and starts talking to Chris. In the course of conversation he asks Chris, "What are you doing these days?" Chris says that I had given up smuggling a long time ago. Now I run a security alarm company. My company is installing this device in people's homes. Then the Church talks about Chris's father, who is also a smuggler. Now he is in jail. Church says that I have a great job for you. If you want to come back, then let me know. After saying this, he leaves from here, and then on the other side we see Andy. Walter is also there with Andy. Both of them are going to their boss now. Both of them were smuggling drugs, but as soon as the customs raided there, Andy threw all the drugs in the water. They know that their boss is going to be very angry. Still, these people have come to talk. After some time, a car stops in front of their car, out of which their boss comes out, whose name is Bricks and D. He tells Bricks everything that Sarah has lost all her drugs. After listening to the conversation, Bricks goes and sits in his car. And D feels that he has forgiven both of them, then Bricks starts driving and runs his car over their car. On the other side, we see that Chris is still at the party when Kate's phone rings. When she answers the phone, she is told that her brother Andy is in very bad condition and is currently admitted in the hospital. Then they all go to meet Andy. Says that Walter is having surgery. After hearing these things, Chris says, "Tell me the whole story. What happened?" Andy says that I was smuggling drugs. I had 10 pounds of drugs as soon as the raid of Custom Halo. I threw all the drugs in the water, but now my boss wants all the drugs. After hearing these things, Chris brings Kate out and he goes to Sebastian and tells him that his boss's name is Bricks. Find out as much information as you can about her. On the way, Chris tells Kate, "I will fix everything. You don't have to worry about anything. Now let's go to our children." These people come home and baby. They pick up their kids from the sitter and the next morning, Sebastian calls Chris and tells him that he has found out everything about Bricks. He got out of jail a few months ago. He is a crazy guy. Whoever he chases, he never leaves them. I have found out his location. Chris takes his location and without wasting time reaches Bricks. As soon as Bricks sees Chris, he becomes happy. He already knows. He asks who Chris is, but Chris does not recognize Briscoe. Briscoe says that you used to work with my brother. I know what a great smuggler you are. You used to be the best in this work and I like this very much. Chris says, "I have come here to talk to you about an important matter. Leave Andy behind and tell me what needs to be done for that." Bricks says, "Andy threw my $1 million worth of drugs in the water. I got all that money. I want all the money, only then I will leave him." After hearing these things, Chris says that those drugs were not worth that much, you bought them for less than that, the seller is quoting you the rate, you should tell the real price. Bricks says that I want the same amount of money. After hearing these things, Chris leaves from here and he goes to Andy. Andy is packing all his things to run away from here. Chris says, "Where are you going?" Andy says, "Briscoe killed Walter last night and he will come to kill me too, and I don't have enough money to pay off all his debt, that's why I'm running away from here. I love my life." Chris says he can't kill me that easily. He won't agree, he is a crazy man. If you leave, he will come to your sister. Andy doesn't care about these things, he starts running away. Then Chris comes to Bricks, then Bricks points the gun at him. Chris, he says, I will return your money, I need 1 month's time. Bricks says no, you will have only 14 days time. If you do not return all the money, then I will destroy you along with your entire family, including your wife and children. On hearing these things, Chris gets angry and starts beating Bix. After beating her, he says, tell me again the names of my wife and children. After saying this on his tongue, he leaves from here and goes to sea. Chris knows that he can earn so much money only by smuggling. He starts planning and quickly goes and tells this to Kate. Then Kate gets angry and says that you are wrong. Then Chris explains to her that this money is too much, I will not be able to earn this much money in 14 days. If I want to save my family, then I will have to do this work. Then Kate also agrees. Then Chris starts the work. First of all, he goes to jail to meet his father and tells him that he wants to return. His father also explains to him the smuggling business and says that the best day of my life was when you left smuggling and started a good business. I don't want you to do the same thing again. Then Chris tells him the whole thing, that his entire family is in danger. Then his father also understands these things. The cargo ship on which he smuggled, he used to give him all the details of his entire crew, and then Chris comes back. Now he has to do complete planning as to what things he wants to smuggle. He sits with Sebastian and does the planning. Sebastian says that you will get more money in drugs, but Chris does not want to smuggle drugs. Chris says that I have a better plan, I will bring $50 million in fake currencies from Panama to America. Then Sebastian also likes this plan and Chris starts preparing immediately. He calls Panama and starts preparing 50 million fake currencies. As soon as people come to know that Chris is making a comeback, everyone becomes happy. Now Andy has also joined Chris's gang. They send their entire crew. At night, Chris goes to the dock. His whole family has come to see him off. Chris hugs everyone and sits down with Andy. As soon as the ship starts moving, we see the captain here. When he comes and starts asking about everyone, when he sees Chris, he asks everyone who has given him the job. When that man comes forward, the captain demotes him and tells the rest of the people that you all keep an eye on Chris. On the other hand, Chris is busy in his work. When he opens his eyes in the middle of the night, he starts working. He is cleaning the floor. While cleaning, he looks at the map here, or in the ship. Whereas how much space, he steals the map and understands that there is a huge hole here. Then he picks up the welding machine and finds the hole. Then he meets the rest of his friends and says that if whatever happens, the captain should not find out about this. He is a rotten person. He tells about that hidden place and tells everyone to hide all the money there. He brings everyone and starts showing that place. Then they come to know that an officer is going to come downstairs. They see that Andy is still inside, then they close the door from outside. Andy is still inside, then the guard comes and tells everyone that you people, we should go upstairs. What are you guys doing here? Then one by one everyone leaves from here. Gat looks at the whole place very carefully, but he doesn't see anything anywhere. Then he also goes upstairs. Chris. He starts explaining to his entire crew that when the ship stops in Panama, I will go out and bring all the money and hide it. Everyone inside the ship feels that they will not have that much time. Chris tells one of his companions that you will have to stay here. But some problem or the other will have to be created in the ship so that we can get more time. Then these people start thinking about it, while on the other hand we see Bricks, who is still keeping an eye on Chris's family. One day he comes to the door. Then Kate opens the door, he forcefully comes inside and his men start ransacking the place. One of Bricks's men accidentally opens fire. Kate gets very scared. On the other hand, we see that the ship is slowly moving away. Now reaching Panama, the captain says reduce the speed of the boat, we will go slowly to the dock, but their crew makes a mistake and within no time the ship crashes and some containers also fall down. Now the captain. She is very angry, and then we see Chris talking to Kate. After listening to Kate's words, he realizes that Kate is very upset. He immediately calls Sebastian and tells her to go to the house and check. There is no problem. Then we see that the ship has now landed in Panama. The captain is still angry at Chris, but Chris takes his friends and comes out with all the bags to bring all that money. After driving for a while, they reach the man. His name is Edwin, who used to work with Chris before. Chris asks where all the money is, then he shows the money while he checks the money. Then he says that there is some problem here. He brings a chemical and drops it on the money, then the color of the money starts coming out. He scolds Edwin and says that you have not printed these on good papers. You had printed it. He says that at his warehouse. Chris says that I am going to your warehouse. Edwin says that you do not have so much time, the ship will be leaving from here soon, but Chris does not agree and starts leaving. We head towards the warehouse, and then on the other side we see the captain who is searching for Chris all over the ship, and then on the other side we see Sebastian who goes to Bricks and tells him to stay away from the family and tell them to give them something. You should not have done this, all this is your fault, you have given the job to NDD for smuggling. If you had hired a good smuggler, then today, this problem would not have happened. Then on the other side we see Chris who reaches the warehouse, he goes inside alone. Andy and Denny are still outside. After going inside, he meets the in-charge here, whose name is Gonzalo. Then Bricks calls Andy. Bricks has come to know everything about what these people are going to do in Panama. He tells Andy to take all the cash you have and go to an address in Panama and give it there. If you don't do this, I will kill your sister and her children. Then Andy gets scared, he is in the car. He picks up all the money and starts running away from here. Then inside we see Gunjal, who tells Chris that we are going to rob an arm truck. I want you to come with me. If you come with me, then all the money will be saved. I will give you all the notes for free. Then Denny goes out, he sees that DD and all the money are missing, then he comes inside and tells these things to Chris. As soon as Gunjal hears these things, he gets angry and says that why did all the people of money come here for money? Chris says on the cussa. Then Chris says that I will help you in robbing the arm truck, if you give me all those money, then it is considered Gonjalo. These people start coming out of here. Then a man of Chris calls from the ship near Chris that in the next 10 minutes we are going to leave from here. Chris says that for the long time you can stop the ship, I try to get out of here. It is to block Chris and Denny on the back of that Armo truck. Then Gonzalo comes out with all his men, he shoots 3 guards, then they start opening the back gate, only then more police here. Those come to those when these people open the gate. Man is killed along with Gonzalo also kills the policeman, but in the end he has survived alone, he has a painting in his hand and he is running away. Then Gunjal goes and sits down and sits as soon as the end die and Chris inside a van. Let's see this thing, they also climb on top of the van, but the policeman shoots the Gazlo, yet these people drive the car and reach his warehouse, then Chris starts loading all the money in his truck. And he also keeps that painting. Gonjal says that I am still taking the hospital to Gonjal, but as soon as these people come on the way, they realize that Gonjalo is dead, then those people are dead, then those people are out of his corpse. Throw on the ship that these people are going to come, then one of his men stands up opening the container door and puts his van, then the container starts to go inside the container. After a while, these people open the door of the container and take out all the money and start going inside the ship. Then a man outside the ship talks to the captain and says that some things have come later, which is inside the container. We should check the things that come later. Then these people start checking all the containers one by one. On the other hand, Koresh is extracting all the money. After a while, they would go away with all the money. As long as the captain comes to check below, the container has all the money leaving from there, he gets only painting inside and the whole truck is empty. Then after going down, he looks ended and he starts beating it. After beating it, he says that where all the money is, he says that I have bought him drugs as I was told. After saying this, he narrates voicemail, then Chris leaves him and asks where the drugs are. He takes the entire drugs and hides it with money too. But now Chris is very angry, he makes a direct call to the Sebastian and tells him that he can throw all the drugs in the water as soon as possible. He does not smuggle drugs. Then we see the church that comes to the Sebastian and goes away by threatening it. Now Sebastian is very upset, he goes and gets from Bricks. With Bricks, he also tells Bricks that you will have to threaten Chris so that he does not throw drugs in the water. After listening to these things, Bricks goes to Kate and starts beating him. He kills the head on the glass, but before he does anything, Sebastian comes and stops him and shows it as if he has no connection with Brig. Then Brig goes from here. That is when Kate realizes that Sebastian has drunk alcohol and he has children in his car. These people were still living at the house of Sebastian. Then Kate takes her children and goes away in a friend's house. After going there, She calls Chris and tells Chris that she says that Bricks has threatened me that you do not throw drugs in water. After listening to these things, Chris understands that definitely there but something is wrong. Then Kate goes back to pick up his things at Sebastian's house, but as soon as Sebastian sees him, he tries to get close to him, then Kate locks herself in the bathroom. Chris calls her but before Kate picks up the call, Sebastian breaks the door of the bathroom which comes directly on the head of Kate and she falls down on the tiles. On the other side, Chris is calling Kate again and again. He only sees Kate. He understands that it is going to die soon when Chris calls Sebastian and threatens him that if anything happens to my family, first I will kill you. After listening to these things, Sebastian, fear after hearing these things, he makes a direct call to the captain and tells that there is a lot of drugs that Chris is going to throw out. If he does not throw that drugs out, then I will give you part of Chris, then I consider you the captain. But he would say that he says is that if Chris did not tell me where the drugs are, then I will call directly. After saying that, he comes to Chris and asks him where Sarah's all the drugs are. Then Chris does not tell anything. People start searching the entire ship when they do not get drugs anywhere. Then Captain Customs. All the customers have come to reach. Now on the other hand, Chris is making a fake key. Till then the customers come to the ship and bring all the people in one room and start searching on the entire ship. On the other hand, we look at Sebastian, who is putting Kate's corpse in a plastic now when we see that the custom has reached the place where Chris had kept all the things, but as soon as he has the door open, they see that there is a hole across the door and there is nothing inside. Then they catch Chris and start questioning him. Then Andy comes out. Hi. He sees the bricks, then he starts running away. On the other hand, if he has no evidence against Chris, then those people leave him too. Chris comes out as soon as Bricks comes to him and stops the car. It is that Andy is in his own car, which Bricks has taken hostage, and Bricks asks where the drugs are. He sees that there is nothing in Chris's hand here. Then he closes the door, but now Chris is more angry. He breaks the glass and does not start beating and starts beating. Then his man comes to the gun, Chris and says where the drugs are. Chris comes and sits his car. After driving for a while, he takes them and goes to the house with the key he made. He opens the door. It starts to give that. After seeing this thing, Bricks is very impressed. He understands that Chris Mind is a smuggler. They start removing all the drugs, but the whole alarm of the house is ringing. Only then we see that this house is someone else, not of the ship's captain. The captain comes out. When you see the Bricks, they arrested it and along with him, because the captain has got all this drugs from his own house. Everyone feels that the captain smuggles this drugs, now both of them now for a long time. On the other hand, Chris arrives at his house, and he starts looking for Kate on the other side. When he does not find Kate, then he goes to Sebastian's house. On the other side we see Sebastian, who takes Kate's corpse. It is roaming around the construction side and puts the corpse. In the construction, work starts here in the morning. All the laborers come and the construction work starts. Only then Chris also reaches here and comes here. He starts beating Sebastian, repeatedly asks him where Kate is. But Sebastian does not tell anything. Then he comes out and tries to call again, that he hears the voice of the phone. Only then he gets to run away. It seems that he looks at the voice of the phone, that he sees where all the concrete is being filled. Then he breaks the tracks from under it. After breaking it, he sees that there is Kate inside and he has plastic. I have been wrapped. He takes him out and starts crying. Then Chris realizes that Kate is still alive. On the other hand we see Sebastian. He has understood that he is going to jail now. He has made a big mistake. Chris now goes to Kate. The hospital starts being treated. On the other hand, Sebastian is sent to jail. As soon as he goes to jail, he meets Chris's father, i.e. his life is now in jail. On the other hand, we see Andy and Denny. Chris gave them a coordinate. When these people go to that coordinate and put rope inside, they get all the money. After seeing these money, these people are very happy that these people reach all the money. Then the church gives them $3 million in lieu of these fake money when these people are leaving here. Only then the church talks to Chris that there was a painting stolen in Panama. Do you know about him? Chris says how much his price is. That church smiles after listening to these things, because the painting is still inside his van, i.e. whenever you want, Chris can also sell that painting. Then time starts passing like this. After some time we see the whole family of Chris in a magnificent house, i.e. now Chris has a lot of money. He may probably sell the painting too. It is given, and now with this the film ends here. Then friends, this video of ours ends here today. If you liked our video, then like it, share it and subscribe to the channel.